Hello everyone, welcome to the 60 literary and jury charge. We're going to start off with a narrative answer, and I will read this at 60 words per minute. Ready? I came down the hall to take a letter to the main office. I did note that the floor had been waxed because I did say to Mr. Mason that the floor looked very nice. He said that he wondered why they had waxed the floor on Tuesday. They usually did it over the weekend. As I turned the corner, my feet just went out from under me. And the next thing I knew, I was on the floor. I knew right away that something was wrong with my arm. I must have fallen on it because it was twisted behind me. My elbow and shoulder hurt, and I had hot pains going all the way up. I just sat on the floor and did not do a thing. I felt shocked and hurt. Then Mr. Mason ran over and tried to help me get to my feet. It was hard to get up, and I felt weak all over. All right. I'm going to read some jury charge. The subject here is Highway Traffic Act. You're going to hear prima facie. Prima facie evidence is based on what seems to be true before a situation has been examined in detail. Okay. All right, you're going to hear vehicle, which you can write that as V long EK, veek. Evidence, EFD. Negligence, the brief for that is NEJS. Collision can be squeezed, KLIGS, collision. Reasonable, RAENL. Highway, HOI. Here we go. Ready? This will be at 60. Members of the jury. Each party in this case charges the other with violating certain statutes of the Highway Traffic Act. It is the law of this state that a violation of any of the provisions of the Highway Traffic Act by a person operating a motor vehicle upon a public highway shall be prima facie evidence of negligence. This presumption of negligence, however, may be rebutted by evidence showing that the statute in question was not violated, or by evidence showing a reasonable ground for such violation. The driver of a motor vehicle whose vision is obscured by snow and wind or other conditions must exercise care and caution with the situation. The factors to be considered when determining a driver's negligence are the speed and control of the vehicle, the extent of visibility, and the degree of care and caution required under the circumstances. It definitely appears that both motorists were driving at a speed lower than the maximum permitted under the Highway Traffic Act. But the fact that the speed of a vehicle is less than that permitted by law does not relieve the driver from the responsibility of reducing speed when special hazards exist with respect to weather, visibility, or highway conditions. It was the duty of each of these drivers to keep his vehicle in his own lane of the pavement. This collision could not have happened if each had done his duty in that respect. It is for you as jurors, judges of the facts, to determine where and how this accident happened and who was to blame, whether both drivers were guilty of negligence which substantially contributed to cause the accident, or if weather conditions alone were responsible. Should you find that both drivers were guilty of violation and the violation by each was a proximate cause of the accident, then neither party can avoid liability. All right. I'm going to read an excerpt from Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. This is called Imagine Yourself at Your Own Funeral. All right, here we go. This strategy is a little scary for some people, but effective at reminding us of what's most important in our lives. When we look back on our lives, how many of us are going to be pleased at how uptight we were? Almost always, when people look back on their lives while on their deathbed, they wish that their priorities had been quite different. With few exceptions, people wish they hadn't sweated the small stuff so much. Instead, they wish they had spent more time with the people and activities that they truly loved, and less time worrying about aspects of life that, upon deeper examination, really don't matter all that much. Imagining yourself at your own funeral allows you to look back at your life while you still have the chance to make some important changes. While it can be a little scary or painful, it's a good idea to consider your own death, and in the process, your life. Doing so will remind you of the kind of person you want to be and the priorities that are most important to you. If you're at all like me, you'll probably get a wake-up call that can be an excellent source of change. Great advice there. All right, I have a technical answer for you. All right, so I will read this at 60 words per minute. You're going to hear condense, group, hydrogen, molecules, indivisible, and substances. Here is your paragraph. Ready? Most things expand as they get hotter and condense as they get colder. When things get hotter, the molecules speed up and move farther away from one another. When they get colder, the molecules slow down and move closer together. When water is heated, the molecules will speed up, moving very rapidly in the form of steam. However, when water is cooled the molecules slow down, but do not get as close together as in other substances. As the water gets colder and colder, the molecules group together. Remember that an atom is a minute bit of matter that is indivisible and which makes up the universe. A molecule is the smallest piece of a substance that retains all the properties of the substance and is made up of one or more atoms. All right. I have some Congressional Record. Now this is going to be more on the difficult side, but that's okay. We need to learn to write anything that comes our way. So the subject here is the budget. And if we don't finish it, I will finish it in the next class. Okay? All right, here we go. Let me give you a word list, okay? We've got co-sponsors, congressional, cycle, oversight, passage, assets, merit, rescue, exerted, Congress, constraints, crucial, coping, budget, biennial, legislation. Okay. All right, here we go. Ready? Excuse me. Mr. Speaker, I am introducing the Biennial Budgeting Act. This bill would put Congress on a 2-year budget cycle and enable us to get the budget under control. As members of the Budget Committee, we do not have enough time to review the budget and at the same time converse, oversee, and review programs and policies. We do not have enough time to go over new program proposals to evaluate their merit. There are 16,500 bills introduced during each Congress. The committee must continue to oversee existing programs, consider the extension of ongoing programs, and try to give new programs the attention they deserve, which pushes the committee to the limit of its coping abilities. Throughout the last year, none of the crucial deadlines have been met. These delays are symptomatic of the time constraints that are placed on Congress each year. My bill proposes that the first year of each 2-year congressional term be devoted to the formal oversight of all programs and agencies. The second year would be used for the passage of any new bills authorizing the legislation be adopted. Now there is more, but I'm going to stop there because we have run out of time, and we will pick up right where we left off in the next class. Okay, have a nice day.